Hello everyone, it's Nick from Claret and Booze. Welcome to my daily ramble. Right, positive show today, but before we get started, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit that bell notification icon. And if you do enjoy the show, please like it. In fact, if you don't enjoy it, just drop a thumbs up on it for me. Do me a favour. It just helps YouTube. It tells the algorithm to share it far and wide. So what we're going to talk about today, well, we're going to talk about the new contract offer to Declan Rice and what I think that means. And then we're going to go on and talk a little bit about Pochettino because, I've not had any definitive news on this. I've had a few whispers as to what this could all mean, but nothing has been confirmed as yet. But we're going to talk about that in a second. But before we get onto Pochettino, let's talk about Declan Rice. Now, as we all know, for the last year, Declan Rice has had a ridiculous contract on the table with West Ham, $200,000 a week over 8 years. Why it was 8 years, I've no idea. I'm assuming that would be negotiable, but that's just the club saying this is how desperate we are to keep you. We'll pay you this over 8 years, and there would have been incremental increases in that as well. It wouldn't have been a flat 200. It would have been going up each year as well, which was a very fair contract, and it kind of showed their commitment to it. I know there's a lot of cynicism around this, and there's a lot of people saying that, Declan Rice, he's not about the money, he wants trophies. Well, yeah, of course he does. He does, and I think the club are aware of that now. And the fact that they're going back in and they're offering him a new contract, which is increased now to 250, which is massive for West Ham, and it's especially massive when you look at us in our sort of precarious position at the moment. Now, it isn't working at West Ham at the moment. We can all see that. If you go by the trend of the last year, we're going to get relegated. So something has to change in order for us to maintain our Premier League status, because if it doesn't, we're going down. The club must be able to see that. They must have sat down, spoken about this, and they've seen how key that Declan Rice is to West Ham. They have gone out in the summer. It hasn't worked, but they went out in the summer and they showed ambition with the types and the levels of players that they've brought in. They've done that. They spent 180 million. They've gone out. They've brought the Brazilian number 10. They've brought the Italian number 9. They've gone and got an international German centre back as well, and it just hasn't worked. And if they've got anything about them, which they must have, even if they are slow and they do sit on their hands and stuff like that, which we know they do, they will know ultimately what is holding West Ham back. And what is holding West Ham back is David Moyes. Declan Rice wants success, and then he'll sign a deal. That's kind of what he wants. I think if we showed, for instance, if we'd have got into the Champions League, there's a lot of people to say, "Oh, no, we wouldn't." If we'd have got into the Champions League last year, he wouldn't have stayed. I think he would have. I think the situation that Declan Rice is already a mainstay in the England setup. He runs a risk if he goes elsewhere. I don't think he would end up on the bench, but you don't know. Look at Grealish, look at Calvin Phillips. Both of those players were key mainstays in their teams before they went to Man City. So there are no guarantees. You don't know how they're going to fare when they move on. So Declan Rice is in a situation at the moment where he's worshipped. Yes, he's pissed a few people off with his comments in the England press conference, but it's all forgivable. It's all forgivable. I'm certainly. I don't hate Declan Rice for what he did there. I was just disappointed in him. I was very, very disappointed. He is ambitious, 100%. He will want trophies. He will want to see that we're going places. Declan Rice will know deep down that the manager that we've got in charge, even if he likes him and he admires him or whatever else, David Moyes is not a winner. He's not. So that has to be fixed. I'm sure that the club understand that. And I think that these are connected. I think the fact that West Ham are putting a contract offer in place, obviously they're not going to be offering it to him now while he's performing for England in a World Cup. This is going to be an offer that's going to be proposed to him when he returns from England duty. So it's a new deal. Some people are saying it's 8 years, but like I say, that's just the club showing the player how much they value him, okay? It wouldn't be 8 years, it would be 5 years. But 250 grand is huge. And there'd be a big fat signing on fee as well. It's massive. That's as much as I think Declan Rice is going to get in terms of wages if he goes elsewhere. I don't think Declan Rice is gonna. He's not a striker. You know, your Mbappe's and your Neymars. They go out. They get 300, 400, 500 grand a week. Ronaldo, players like that. Declan Rice isn't going to. It's not going to happen. So, yeah, I think in terms of money, I think they're right. They're on the money. In terms of ambition that they showed in the summer, I think you could say that they was on the money in terms of what they did. Yes, they did sit on their hands in January, but I don't just blame them. I do blame the manager for it. I do blame them for the fact that David Moyes is still here. But look, the restart hasn't started yet, so he isn't still here really. I'm sure he will be back and he'll be in training at some point with the team, but that means nothing. So yeah, I'm quite encouraged by this. That's not to say that I believe that Declan Rice will sign if all we're doing is we're just throwing money at him, because he won't. But I'm hoping that what they're doing is it's all connected. So they're going to be going to Declan Rice and saying, look, we are moving places. We've done a massive investment in the summer. I know this season hasn't gone to plan, but we're not going to sit on our hands. We're going to go out. We're going to get a top manager. We are. And yeah, so sign on the dotted line, because we're not going to let you go, Dec. We'll just let you run your contract down, mate. So you might as well stay here and earn some decent money. That would be real ambition from the club. That's what I think they should do, because we've got him for 2 more years. So we could literally say to him, we'll keep you till you're 25, mate, and then you can go for free, because you're worth that much to us. You know, you're worth 50 million a year to us, to be quite honest. And moving on to some very exciting news, which is Pochettino. I've spoken about him before. A lot of people do turn their nose up at the manager. I can't think why. They say he's not a winner. He's not this. He's not that. Well, look, he's exactly the type of manager that I want at West Ham. When you look at what he did at Tottenham, we spoke about Bruno Amorim, and what I liked about Bruno Amorim was he's what he did at Braga and what he's done at Sporting Lisbon, where he hasn't just gone out and gone mental in the transfer market. The first thing he did when he went to Sporting Lisbon was he delved into the youth academy and he just created a load of superstars overnight. He utilised what he had, got the absolute best out of them. The polar opposite of David Moyes, and it's kind of what Pochettino did when he went to Spurs. It's what he did. You know, he got the best out of every single player there. They were all overperforming. And he got them to a Champions League final. Yes, they didn't go all the way. But, you know, I just think he would be fantastic for us. I do. I know people say that he didn't do quite so well at PSG, but I don't think he is that type of manager. I don't think he is. I think he is a project man. I think he's the guy that you bring in when you are developing a project, because he doesn't have to have 200 million every season to go out and just buy the finished product. He doesn't need it, you know. I think players like that, managers like that, you can see they get a kick out of developing players and bringing them through. That's what I want to see at West Ham. And he plays a high intensity pressing game that we would all love. He's a charismatic guy as well. And I don't know if you all saw in the commentary yesterday, but he did say that was going to be his last bit of punditry, because as we all know, in the previous in his previous go in the World Cup interview, he said, I'm going back into management after the World Cup. Well, basically what he said was, this is my last bit of punditry. I've got a bit of business to take care of. Now, we know that even when Mauricio was managing PSG, he said, no, not he didn't say, his wife remained living in London. His family's in London. He likes living in London. He's come out in the last few weeks and he said, I love the Premier League. I'm not going to rule out a Premier League return. He hasn't said anything about Champions League. He said, I wouldn't rule out a Premier League return. I'm interested in a project, you know. And yeah, like I say, his family's in London. Now, there is people that are going to link him to the Tottenham job, but I don't think they're done with Conte yet. Conte, they've got a good manager. Spurs have got a great manager in Conte. I would say that where Spurs are, I think they need Conte, because Conte is the next level manager. They need someone who's going to take him on, take them on, and potentially get them to win the league or win a cup. If they bear with Conte and throw some money at him, they'll probably get there with him. So I can't see them going from Conte to Pochettino, because they've already moved on beyond Poch once. So I think, you know, we're there. I think we are an interesting project, and if they have got the level of money, that we've just demonstrated that we've got in the summer that's just gone, and they're willing to invest again, and they're willing to throw stupid money at our best player to keep him, then why wouldn't Pochettino want to stay? And surely that want to come to West Ham, not stay. Why wouldn't he want to come to us? So yeah, like I say, I've had news before that the club have approached Pochettino and Tuchel, and at the initial talks, they weren't quite there. But look, at the end of the day, a lot of it's going to come down to what's on the table for Pochettino. Yes, I'm sure he would love a Champions League club, but those jobs they're not 10 a penny. You know, there's only a few clubs in England. There's only a few clubs worldwide, Europe-wide, that he's got to choose from that are in that kind of bracket, and most of them are settled, with the exception of maybe Chelsea. With the exception of Chelsea. Who I think they'll give time to Potter. They should give time to Potter because he's another one. I don't think Potter's a good fit for Chelsea, I've got to be honest, but I don't think they're going to employ him and then just sack him because it ain't worked in a few months. I think he's there at least till the end of the season. And why not? Why not? Why can't we see Pochettino at West Ham? I can. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised to see West Ham unveil Pochettino before the restart. So when we go up against Arsenal, we could have Mopo sitting in the dugout instead of David Moyes. Now, what a lift that would give the club. Come on, think about it. Fast forward, think about how it would remove so much pressure. It would. I'm not saying that we would go out and we would beat Arsenal straight away, because Arsenal are a great team this season and they're firing. But just to have that pressure relieved at the moment, you know, I think there's an awful lot of players that would benefit immediately. There'd be an immediate bounce, irrespective of what manager came in next. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. I'm genuine. I've had my heart set on Pochettino since the very beginning, really, since we started talking about managers. And yeah, I still think it's possible. So I'd love to be a fly on the wall. I'd love to know what is actually happening. I'd love to know what business that Mauricio Pochettino has got to go and take care of. So we shall see. We shall see. Because look, if it weren't important, he'd be staying in and around the World Cup doing punditry on Argentina. You know, he's thinking that Argentina are going to go all the way. So why would he bail out at this stage? Don't think he would. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Anyway, do you think we've got a chance? Do you think that finally our board might be getting off of their hands? Do you think they might think, look, do you know what? I've had enough of this. Do you think maybe he's watched one or two of our shows and he's gone, I've got to stop that bloke from moaning. Look at him. For his own mental health, I think we better sack Moyes, or poor old Nick. He's going to keel over. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, let me know in the comments. Anyway, I'm very excited. I don't think that Declan Rice will just sign his contract and nothing else. It has to be connected. They have to show ambition as well. They've got to continue to show ambition. They spent money in the summer. It hasn't worked, so they can't stop. They've got to try and fix what hasn't worked, because it should have. And carry on moving forwards. I think that's the only way that you then go to Dec and say, right, look, we've shown intent now. We've got a great manager. We're going to go big again in January and in the summer. You're going nowhere, so you might as well stay here and earn some money, mate. You know, we'll keep you for 2 years, and we'll prove to you that it's the right decision for you to stay here. So I think that's what they need to do. I hope they do that. So yeah. Bit of a different video. There you go. Uplifting from me for a Monday morning. So, yeah, like I say, I'll say it again. That's it from me. And I'll see you later in the week. I did a show last night. I did a live show on the England, on England, breezing past Senegal. It was a bit of a nightmare, to be quite honest. Jonathan joined, who was one of our callers, who was great, but my network connection just dropped out. So the video was fucking terrible, and yeah, it was a bit of a pain. The audio is fine. There's a black spot in the video which I've marked, so you can just skip past it. There's about a 10-minute dead spot, but we had some good callers as well. So like I say, everything is timestamped in that video if you do want to go and check it out. All right then. Okay, thank you very much. I'll see you later in the week. Carry your heads.